Hello and welcome back to Reddit Revenge. At 18, I thought life was simple. I had a steady girlfriend I'd known since high school, a part-time job, and a clear plan for my future. I wasn't the type to party or waste time. I studied, worked, and kept my head on straight. Even her father admired me for it. We got along so well that I'd worked a short stint at their family's small grocery store when I was between jobs. He often told me he respected my discipline and goals. That meant something to me. More, maybe, than his daughter ever realized. She was supposed to be my partner. But after nearly a year together, something shifted. Our relationship started to fade like old paint. She always said she was too busy at the store. Weekends together turned into excuses, and our conversations shrank down to a few words. I told myself it was just stress, maybe growing pains. But when a close friend called and told me she'd seen my girlfriend out with another guy, my chest collapsed. I didn't want to believe it, but a voice deep down whispered the truth. Still, I couldn't accuse her without proof. So I waited, planning for the moment when the truth would finally be exposed. For 3 long weeks, I tried to get her to spend time with me. 3 weeks of dodged plans, fake smiles, and hollow excuses. Finally, she agreed to come over one evening after work. I had already decided. If the rumors were true, that night would end everything. She walked in tired, barely making eye contact, and announced she was heading straight for a shower. She dropped her bag and phone on the table without a second thought. And that's when the moment arrived. My pulse raced, my hands shook, and my mind screamed against the decision. But I picked up the phone anyway. Within seconds, everything came crashing down. The messages were endless. She wasn't just cheating. She was sneaking off every weekend to meet her ex. And not just any ex. This was the same dirtbag we all knew from school. The one who skipped classes to smoke behind the gym, bragged about drinking until he blacked out, and worst of all, dealt drugs to kids. He wasn't ambitious, wasn't reliable, wasn't anything her family respected. And yet there she was, laughing with him, calling me too nice, mocking my focus on work. In black and white, she admitted she only stayed with me because her family loved me. My stomach twisted. Reading those words shattered me. I'd never been cheated on before, and I didn't know how to process the mix of rage and heartbreak clawing through my chest. But I kept scrolling, and that's when the anger hardened into something else entirely. Resolve. Buried between the messages about hookups and late-night drinking were conversations about money, or rather, their lack of it. They whined about not affording booze or drugs. Then came the suggestion that made my blood boil. He told her to just grab it from the store. And she agreed. Not once, not twice, but nearly every weekend. $800 here, a pile of stolen goods there. She had been robbing her own family's business. The same business her father poured his life into. Suddenly, the late shifts, the working weekends, all made sense. It wasn't about helping her family. It was about stealing from them. My heartbreak turned to ice. It wasn't just about me anymore. It was about her betraying everyone who trusted her. In that moment, I knew exactly what had to be done. While the water ran in the shower, I was in the living room making a decision that would flip her world upside down. I screenshotted everything, the stolen money conversations, the trash talk about me, every confession about cheating with her ex. Then I opened her dad's contact and attached the evidence. My message was simple. This is what I found on your daughter's phone. I'm sorry. I hit send. Each buzz confirming sent was like a nail sealing the coffin of our relationship. I placed the phone back on the table exactly as she left it, sat down and waited. When she emerged, damp hair dripping, she smiled faintly and asked if I wanted to watch a movie. My chest felt heavy, but my voice was calm. We're done, I told her. I know everything. You should leave. Her face twisted in shock, then anger, then confusion. She tried to argue, demanded answers, but I didn't budge. Finally, she stormed out, muttering curses under her breath. She thought it was just a breakup. What she didn't know was that the real nightmare was waiting for her at home. Less than an hour later, my phone rang. It was her father. His voice was broken, heavy with sorrow and rage. He apologized to me for his daughter's behavior, for betraying someone he respected, for every lie she had told. He sounded devastated. Then he told me something that froze me in place. He had already called the police. Officers were waiting for her at their house, evidence in hand. They were picking up her ex, too. I hadn't expected that. My plan had been to expose her to her family, to let them see the truth. But now the law was involved. Theft wasn't just a betrayal, it was a crime. And this time, she couldn't laugh it off as me being too nice. That night, while I sat in my room trying to process everything, she walked into her home expecting the usual. Maybe tears, maybe shouting, maybe forgiveness. Instead, she walked into flashing red and blue lights. The police were already there, her father holding her phone out as evidence. She tried to deny it, tried to scream that it wasn't what it looked like. But the screenshots were undeniable. The officers cuffed her in her own living room. Her ex was picked up the same night, dragged from whatever dive he was hiding in. And suddenly, the bad boy she risked everything for was just another criminal with a record. That night, instead of curling up in bed, she spent the hours locked in a cell. And instead of being the adored daughter, she was a thief facing charges. The fallout was swift and brutal. Her father pressed charges, he had to. His business was bleeding money, and she had siphoned off thousands over time. The trial painted her not as a misunderstood girl, but as a thief who chose drugs and a loser ex over family and trust. The judge ordered her to repay the stolen money and sentenced her to community service. The humiliation was public, undeniable, and permanent. And her ex, his past caught up with him. Outstanding warrants turned his arrest into something far uglier. I don't know exactly how long he got, but it wasn't freedom. They had gambled on each other. Both lost. For me, the strangest part was the calm that followed. At first, I replayed everything in my head. The betrayal, the texts, the way she mocked me for being too nice. But each time, the knot in my chest loosened. Knowing she wasn't just punished by karma but by her own family, and the law brought a closure I hadn't expected. I didn't scream, didn't humiliate her in public. I just told the truth, and the truth did all the heavy lifting. She lost me, her freedom, her family's trust, and her reputation. All in one night. Years later, her dad still reaches out sometimes. We'll chat like we used to, catching up on work or life. He still apologizes now and then, though he doesn't have to. He says he respects me for standing up, for not letting her lies continue, for protecting his store from sinking deeper. I never rub it in. I don't need to. Her punishment, her loss, is reminder enough. She went from sneaking off on weekends to serving community service, from mocking me to being mocked by the justice system. She wanted chaos. She got consequences. And I walked away, scarred but stronger, knowing I dodged a bullet disguised as love. In the end, her betrayal didn't destroy me. It revealed her. She traded stability for a dirtbag and stole from the very people who loved her most. I exposed the truth, and the truth burned her life down. That's my closure. I didn't just walk away. I made sure she faced the consequences. Now I want to hear from you. What would you have done in my place? Would you have confronted her directly, or exposed her like I did? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading. If you enjoyed this story, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next one. And share this with someone who loves a good revenge story. Thanks for watching. Stay sharp.